Hello, I'm Natasha. Welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I would like to discuss what my main fears are following Labour's victory in the most recent general election in the UK. So Labour won 411 seats with 34% of the actual votes. The Reform Party won 5 seats with 14% of the vote, while the Conservatives won 121 seats with 24% of the votes. And the first thing to say is that this just demonstrates how unfair the voting system is in the UK. More people voted against Labour than for them, yet they are now going to dictate policy in the UK. Now, I guess to summarise, I would say that I fear everything that the Labour Party will do to the UK. I fear that it will be the nail in the coffin for the UK. I have zero confidence in the Labour Party managing the country properly. But my key fears are around immigration, law and order, and the economy. Now, the Labour Party have said that they apparently support a points-based immigration system that works for workers and businesses. This is on the Labour Party's website. Now, I don't have any faith that the Labour Party will implement this. Under Tony Blair, the Institute for Public Policy Research, which was Blair's favourite think tank, commented recently and said, "It is no exaggeration that immigration under New Labour changed the face of the country." And my fear is that Keir Starmer, like Tony Blair, will do nothing on immigration. The Labour Party has already said that it is going to scrap the Rwanda plan. The previous Conservative government had spent at least 240 million on this plan. And I think that there is a bigger question around this, which is if we are going to have new governments in power every 5 years, just reversing what previous governments have done, is this not a massive waste of taxpayers' money? All of this money that has been spent on Rwanda will be wasted. Undoubtedly, we are going to have an influx of migrants coming across the channel, and there will be even less of a deterrent than previously. Obviously, these are not the bulk of the immigration numbers in the UK, but the left does seem to constantly equate immigration as a good thing for the economy. So I do have little faith that they will address legal migration effectively. I have personally already seen a major change in the demographics in the area which I live. I would say that this has happened very quickly in the last 6 months or so. If we have even less control of our borders, how will this change the landscape of the UK? Secondly, I fear the Labour Party's policy on law and order and crime. In the UK, we have had an increase in crime over the last few years. According to the Office for National Statistics, the year ending June 2023 showed police recorded robbery offences increased by 11% compared with the year ending June 2022. Offences involving knives or sharp instruments increased by 3%. Offences involving firearms increased by 13%. Then if we look at average sentencing in the UK there is no statutory minimum sentence for rape. Generally, sentencing for rape convictions starts from 4 years in prison. For murder, the starting point for a minimum term ranges from 15, 25 or 30 years. The average custodial sentence for sexual offences in the UK is between 5 and 10 years. Although those in immediate custody by the courts go straight to jail, for about 90% of sentences, an automatic release is granted halfway through the sentence. The offender is then on licence for the remainder of it. As crime increases and sentencing is already, I would strongly argue, too relaxed, the Labour government have suggested that two-thirds of people in jail should not be there. I personally find this completely nonsensical. If we're going to allow prisoners to be released and not toughen up the criminal justice system, this will lead to an extremely dangerous society. I personally do not feel safe on the streets as it is. The oldest and simplest justification for government is as a protector, protecting citizens from violence. Thomas Hobbes' Leviathan describes a world of unrelenting insecurity without a government to provide the safety of law and order. If the government, like the previous government, fails to do this, then we are going to have a failed state. Finally, I worry that the Labour Party will completely ruin the UK economy. The UK already has high debt and low economic growth. What can we expect from the Labour Party? Probably excessive spending and high taxes, and we already have the highest rate of tax for years. I have no confidence that the government will be able to manage the economy. I imagine that they will tax people excessively and that public finances will be in a worse shape than they are now. And there are, of course, other things that I am concerned about, such as Labour continuing to support the war in Ukraine and who knows, maybe other wars. I'm also concerned that Labour will destroy Greenbelt land in the UK with their proposed changes to planning rules. The only silver lining for me is that Nigel Farage won a seat and he can challenge the government. The future of the UK rests on his shoulders. I do think he definitely needs to improve the image of his party and have more female candidates. I personally wonder how on earth could anyone have voted for Labour? I don't know if it's a type of virtue signalling superiority complex, but I hope they feel morally superior because I think the UK is going to have a very hard few years ahead of it.